Hey friends, V here. I'm going to walk you through uploading your 2023 exclusive Papel Picado frame and Sugar Skull SVG to Cricut Design Space. I'll also walk you through the process of assembling them later on in this video. First thing is I'm making sure that both of my SVG files are saved to my device. In my case, it's my iPad. And I'm going to open Cricut Design Space and create a new project. Once I'm on a blank canvas, I'm going to upload my files and I'm going to add the Papel Picado frame and save it. Now, because these are SVG files, they will automatically be saved as cut files and they will be grouped together so you can move the entire project at once. If you want to separate them, you can simply ungroup them, and if you need to change the colors, you can do so as well. I'm keeping mine as is, and I resized the Papel Picado frame to 6 inches tall. Here I am uploading my Sugar Skull SVG file in the same way that I did my Papel Picado. Again, it is grouped together so all the colors and layers are in one. And I just resized again to make the height of the Sugar Skull 6 inches. As I mentioned a second ago, you can change the colors of the layers to reflect the colors you want to use in your project. You simply ungroup the project and change the colors that way. Now, I'm going to keep mine how they are. I'm not going to make any changes, but if you decide to, you can do it for both the frame and the skull. The frame and Sugar Skull each have a different number of layers. The frame has 8 layers and I made my top layer black. All 7 layers underneath it are different colors. And then for my Sugar Skull, it's 7 layers. My top layer is white, the very bottom layer is black, and then there's 5 colored layers in between, just so you get an idea of how many colors you'll need if you decide to follow the same steps that I'm taking. Now we can start assembling our frame and our Sugar Skull. I'm using adhesive foam strips from scrapbook.com. They're 1/8 of an inch wide by 9 inches, as well as my Barely Arts Precision Craft Glue. Not all 8 layers are going to be separated with foam. If we do that, then we're going to lose some of the detail in between, and we're not going to get the colors to show through. Now I have this Cricut tool just to pick out any of those little teeny tiny details that didn't come off when I peeled off of my mat. So for the 8 layers, the top 3 layers, which I'm going to refer to as layers 6, 7, and 8, are going to be glued together. Now our first and second layer, which is our base and that heart shape there with the teal, are also going to be glued together. And then our middle layers, layer 3, 4, and 5, are all going to be assembled separately with the foam, okay? So first, layers 6, 7, and 8, you're going to use your Barely Arts or any craft glue of your choice, and you're going to begin adding glue to the back side of layer 7, okay? Once you have glue on there, you're going to go ahead and attach it to layer 6. Now, when you're doing these layers, you want to make sure you're adding glue to the back side of the layer that's going to be on top. You don't want to add glue to the side or to the layer that's going to be underneath, okay? Because you have more pieces that are cut out on the top layer and you don't want that glue to seep through too much. So now I put glue on the very top layer, which is layer 8, on the back side, and then I attached it onto layer 7, which is also attached to layer 6. You're going to set that aside, and now you're taking layer 2, adding glue to the back of it, and then you're attaching it to layer 1, which is your only solid piece in this project. Now we want to glue our layers first before we start using the foam, because you want the layers that are glued to dry before you get into the rest of the project. So now we're going to start using our foam strips. Now the 1/8 of an inch foam strips that I use from scrapbook.com, they fit perfectly into the detail that comes with the Papel Picado frame and the Sugar Skull. They are thin enough to get into those small little details when it comes to layering. So what I'm doing now is starting with my adhesive. I'm going to the back side of layer 3 and I will start adding all of my foam strips so that way it creates a dimensional look. So I'm definitely going all along the border of the layers without letting that foam seep through the cutout details. And some people like to put a whole bunch, some people like to put very little. I feel like I put a good amount that makes me feel comfortable that my layers are going to look separate or dimensional. And I'm going to go ahead and speed up this process for you guys. The great thing about this adhesive is when you take off the protective coating on the back, it actually becomes really flexible, so you can curve it around those details within the frame. And then once you're comfortable with the amount of adhesive you've added, you're going to go ahead and just layer 3 onto 2, which is also onto 1. So you're just going to continue to build from the bottom to the top. And you're just going to continue the same process, taking your adhesive to the back side of your next layer, which is layer 4. And just do your best to add the tape along those edges. If you need to cut off a few small pieces, do that. Just again, you don't want that foam to seep through the detail on the front when you have all of the layers together. So then you're gonna go to layer 5 and continue the steps, continue the process. I'm using these little scissors I didn't mention earlier. They're from the Dollar Tree, and I just use them for cutting the strips rather than trying to tear the strips. They tend to stretch if you try to tear them. And yeah, so add layer 5 on top of what you've already built with your previous layers. And then final layer of adhesive. This is layers 6, 7, and 8 that are all glued together to create one layer for your adhesive process. You will notice that this top layer is a little bit more sturdy because the 3 layers are glued together, which is great because it'll just create more longevity for your frame. So then you just go ahead and add it. And guys, you've completed your 2023 Papel Picado dimensional frame. Now let's go ahead and get started with our sugar skull. So as I mentioned before, your sugar skull consists of 7 layers, and I'm going to show you how you're going to combine and group them. So the top white layer is going to be on its own, which is layer 7. Then layers 6, 5, and 4 are going to be together, which you will glue those. Then layer 3 will be by itself, and then layer 2 and 1 will also be glued together. So you're going to end up just having 4 layers by the time you start with your adhesive foam strips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take layer 2, and on the back side, I'm going to use my precision craft glue from Barely Arts. Glue it all over, and then we're going to, oh, don't drop it. Don't be like me. And then you're going to attach it to the base layer, which is black. Now the base layer is the eyes and the nose of the sugar skull. You don't have to make it black. I just like the way it looks. You can make this, the black piece, an actual colored piece if you want more color in your sugar skull. Completely up to you, but I'm using black today. So we're just going to attach these 2 together. Now just be mindful of the amount of glue you add. I think I added a little too much and it made it a little bit like damp, if you will. So now I'm going to go into layers 4, 5, and 6. Okay. I'm going to flip those over so I don't get them confused or glue them incorrectly. And I'm going to take glue to layer 5 on the back side. I'm going to add my glue, and then we're going to go ahead and attach this onto layer 4. And we're going to go ahead and speed this up for you guys. And you'll just attach this on top of layer 4, as I mentioned. Now, when I add the layer on top, I don't push it down right away, so that way I can reposition with the quick, short amount of time that I have before it fully dries. And then I went in with layer 6 and then added it onto the layers that I need. So layer 4, 5, and 6 are attached. There's my heavy item. It's just going to keep it flat until I need it. So now we get into the adhesive. This sugar skull is a lot faster than the frame. just because you only work with 4 layers as far as the adhesive. So I'm taking a lot of it to the back of layer 3, and then I'm going to just place it on top of my layer 1 and 2 that's already glued together. And now we're adding adhesive to our 3 layers that were glued together at the beginning, which were layers 4, 5, and 6. So just add your adhesive, and then this will be placed on top of the layers you've already done, which were layers 1, 2, and 3. And guys, this looks really good the way that it is with this yellow skull. I love it. But you know me, I got to add the white details. So we're going to do that. Again, the very top layer has the least amount of space. So just be mindful, making sure that adhesive doesn't show through onto those little details as well. Okay. So once you do that, guys, you are ready to attach that final top layer, which is layer 7. And just like that, you've completed your sugar skull. I do want to say thank you to everyone who has purchased my exclusive 2023 Papel Picado and sugar skull design. They won't be available for long, so don't miss the opportunity to purchase these over in my Etsy shop. Now, the other thing is you don't always have to use the foam strips. If you just want to glue all the layers together with your craft glue, you can do that as well. They look just as amazing. It's just the foam gives it dimension. So anyways, thank you so much for all your love and support. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day.